So this person replied, not gonna lie, I ain't think we read in the same Bible. Jesus literally went into a market and had a crash out. Now this is a conversation I've had with tons of people, and for whatever reason, anytime I bring up loving your neighbor, the biblical definition of love, not the secular one, what it means to turn the other cheek, anything along the lines of like humility, there's at least one person who's like, Jesus flipped a table. So today, my beautiful people, we're actually going to dive into what Jesus flipping the tables meant. And little sneak peek, it doesn't mean you get to act off your emotions. Ooh. Anyways, whatever year, temple, bam, shkaboof. We're in the temple. There was a part of the temple which was sectioned off to only the Gentiles. If you don't know what a Gentile is anyone who is not a Jew. I, not Jew, am a Gentile. So in that period, God, Yahweh, was considered God of the Jews, right? So they were like, to everyone else at the time. There was a part of the temple which was sectioned off for only the Gentiles because they weren't considered like God's people since they weren't Jewish. They were considered lower than. Now keep in mind, these Gentiles did believe in God. They did live their life and try to follow God. However, since they didn't go through all that stuff with Moses and they didn't promise God through going through that stuff with Moses that they would actually follow the laws of God, they were considered less than. And at that time, people believed that you were saved through works, through the law, through the fulfillment of the law, rather than through faith, even though faith is what saves us, not our works. And contrary to common belief, faith has been what always saves us, not works, even from the beginning. Now, some money-hungry Jews waddled and skedaddled up in there and put up tables to sell stuff purposefully in the part that was sectioned off for the Gentiles. And they were taking away time for the Gentiles' prayer and time with God to sell them stuff because they were money hungry and gross. Now, for some more prefix to this, in the first book of the Bible, Genesis, God makes this promise to Abraham. I will surely bless you and make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky, and as the sand on the seashore. Your descendants will take possession of the cities of their enemies, and through your offspring, all nations on the earth will be blessed because you have obeyed me. All nations, not just one or two. This part of the temple was fulfilling that purpose because it was for the Gentiles, all nations, not just the Jews, which culturally at the time were thought of as better than other people and that God loved them more and that crap. This is why during that situation, Jesus, during that story, says, "It is written," he said to them, "My house will be called a house of prayer, but you have made it a den of robbers." They weren't literally going in people's pockets and robbing people, but they were taking away their time from God. Their time in prayer, their time that was supposed to be sacred, they were taking it away to make a buck. That's why God was calling them robbers and thieves, because it was supposed to be a house of prayer. And notice how he didn't say prayer for y'all, just the Jews. He said a house of prayer, everyone included. And the reason before that, the little prefix is there that it says it is written, he was quoting their own scriptures at the time. He was quoting Jeremiah and Isaiah because in the New Testament, they would read the Old Testament, which is why the Pharisees were so religious, me, is because they were like, I know scripture. And it's like, well, you don't have a relationship with God, so what are you doing? But yeah, so that's why he was literally quoting their scripture like a little, So to reiterate, not only were they taking away people's time with God, they were wiping their rear ends with the promise God had made. So Jesus didn't flip the tables like, you made me mad. That's not what happened. So in reality, the symbolicness of this story is not he just got pissy and flipped the table. He was standing up for you and I, because we're the Gentiles. He was standing up for you and I saying, no, we have time in prayer, and no, you don't get to just be high and mighty, I'm a Jew, me, I'm better than you. That's not what it's talking about. And he flipped the table because that's what they were using to get people's attention off of God and onto themselves, onto buying things and taking a time away from other people's prayer. It was not just table because I'm mad. It was symbolic. There was a reason why he picked a table. He could have punched them in the face, but no, he flipped the table because that actually had to do with what was going on. Jesus flipping the table does not give you an excuse to not treat people the way that the Bible clearly commands us to, or an excuse to treat people based off our emotions toward them rather than in love. And he did not have a crash out. With all that said, I love you. I just talk rough. Okay, bye.